I'm excited today to share with you about the Instagram method, which was an absolute critical part of helping me get my launch in my business. So I want to share with you how I hit $10,000 revenue months after moving to a brand new market. We had, if you want to, please give me a follow down here, the Real Estateographers. That's our business account, or you can also follow at Scott Golmick if you want to give a follow. Would love to connect with you there. But we lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we wanted to move to the sunshine. And so we knew that we wanted to move to Florida. We didn't know where. And the crazy part is we didn't really have a plan. We were moving without a job, but we knew that we had to leave. It was time to go kind of spread our wings. And so we went to list our house. And the crazy part is we chose our realtor based on the quality of her photos. And I'll share a little bit more about that here in a second. But okay, the owner of the Real Estateographers, I have a video background shooting for the NFL, got to sit on the sidelines. If you see a guy during this NFL season that has a blue vest in the corner of the end zone, that's NFL Films. I got to do that for 10 years. It was so much fun. I got to shoot other sports for TV regionally in Pittsburgh, part of the live broadcast. It was so cool, but it was time for a change. Those are long days, long nights, weekends, holidays, everything. And when we moved, there's outside of the Jaguars, there's not really a ton of sports here in Jacksonville. And so what was work going to be? I'll tell you about that here in a little bit. So we landed on St. John's, Florida, brand new area, zero connections. And truthfully, looking back, this is my story. It's not everyone's story, but looking back, I think it had to happen that way for me to go that fast. There were no preconceived notions of, oh man, that realtor is a really big realtor, or I didn't know who anyone was. I was just trying to introduce myself to as many people as possible in a very genuine way. And so consistency, authenticity, connection, and then bringing the value first. And so going back to our realtor, she had something on all of her listings. Now we're in a small town in Western Pennsylvania, north of Pittsburgh. Her listings always had what's called a virtual twilight. And that's where they take a daylight photo and they make it look like it was taken at sunset. Some people love them, some people hate them, whatever. It was her shtick. And you could tell when you searched for new homes in our area, which one was Katina Hunter's. And I wanted somebody that was going to market our house well. With my video and marketing background, I wanted somebody that was going to help us get the most value possible. So we reached out to her literally because of the quality of her photos. I guess they really didn't consider who was going to take the photos. And then she said, all right, when we're ready to list, we'll get our photographer, and he's ready a week out. I'm like, a week? We're ready to go live now. Who is this photographer? But as soon as I met him, we had our house prepped, met him, peppered him with questions. And that's when it kind of hit me like, I think I can do this. And this is what I want to do whenever we move. So literally, I think I've watched almost every one of Eli's videos. The crazy part is there's just so much value. Every time you hear Eli talk, and you'll see it today, there's so much value. The weekly calls that he does, the videos that he puts out. And so I can talk a little bit about this more later, but I chose to get into coaching when coaching first started. And for me, it was an easy leap because I felt like I already knew Eli and team. They've been providing value through all of these videos that I've watched. I already know, like, and trust. And so it was an easy jump for me to get into coaching. So not sure if this is the best plan for everybody, but we moved with no plan and no job. And instead, we took a complete leap of faith. I want to give you an update on where we are today. So we moved to St. John's, Florida in March of 2023. And you'll see these numbers down here. I don't know, maybe if you're watching on a phone, that is $300 revenue came in March of 2023. And you can see this is a monthly calendar. Thankfully, it keeps on going on average up and to the right, which is exciting. And so now in 2025, we are averaging $40,000 revenue months, which is just insane. I remember just starting, I couldn't have imagined starting a team. I just wanted this to be a solo photographer. But the issue became we started to book too far out that to service our clients well, we had to bring in more people. Well, then that was one photographer, and then two, and now we're up to 6 photographers all shooting for the Real Estateographers, and they are doing a tremendous job. We have 4 virtual assistants that are helping us deliver, answer phones, respond to text messages. You heard Eli mention that, the speed to the lead. And so we have a team of 10. I mean, this started March of 2023 and we're August of 2025. And this is not a about me story. This, I want to click with you. Like this is possible. We're in an industry that is possible. I had something I wanted to share at the beginning and I had forgotten to, so I want to share it now. We have one of the easiest sales positions in the world. We have a product that people want. It's something basically required. If you do a good job, you'll be referred. And most importantly, there's repeat business. Let me tell you about our journey from not knowing that this was an industry to being a full-time single income family. So the final update on this slide is that I have completely stepped away from shooting out of necessity. It became like a disservice to the business to continue to shoot while other things are happening. So my job right now is to really work on client acquisition, meeting with brokers and agents, and really continuing to build the brand. So it's almost more of a sales role. One thing I want to show you on this chart, man, things were cruising, right? We're jumping up here, and then things have declined. And so there is data that supports that the market has dipped a little bit. But let me tell you, as you're just beginning, the market doesn't matter. And I could argue even at this point, the market doesn't matter 2 years in, because there are still 2,600 shoots that happened in our surrounding counties. And last month we had about 100 or 110 of those shoots. There's still 2,500 shoots out there. So my motivation in my job 2 years into this business is no longer shooting, but it's to go get more market share. If the market's down, we're going to increase our market share. So I want to share a little bit about that with you. Let's rewind to March of 2023. This was, I don't know, I'm making it up. Maybe March 16th was my first time that I had sent an Instagram message, the IG method. If you're not familiar, if you haven't heard it from Eli, this is the main client acquisition avenue that he promotes. And again, as a student, why would I do anything differently than somebody that has a business that's been up for 12 years, that's successful and has coached hundreds, I assume thousands of students at this point? If they say go do the IG method, I went and did the IG method. And so the idea is you're reaching out to realtors on Instagram, and then you're sending them a message, maybe a video message. And then what I had done is a personal video message. So I can share more about that in a little bit, but that's the main way of introducing yourself and introducing your business to potential clients. Thankfully for us, realtors are some of the easiest clients to find on social media because they're always posting about their just listed, open house, or just closed business. And so if we can find them, all of a sudden we can reach out to them on one of their primary forms of communication for their business, and that's on Instagram. All right, let's get to this slide, the low point. I'd been about a month and a half into sending messages, and had a few bookings, no prospects, and a lot of doubt, and just thinking like, man, I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but it's just not coming to fruition. And so, man, it's crazy when things are slow, what your mind can do. You feel like you're not doing enough. You're not doing the right thing or something. You're not seeing the results fast enough. So what I didn't see was that the seeds were planted and the growth was coming. Man, this is still good just for me to hear right now that seeds are being planted and that growth is coming. So let's rewind to this chart. March was 300. April was 1,500. This is where I was feeling like, what's going on? I don't have enough business. May was 7K and 13K in June. I mean, that's some rapid growth from an April low point of, man, I don't know if this is gonna work. And so I think we'll talk about it later too, the idea of, man, just stay consistent in sending out this acquisition. And that's true even 2 years into the business. Let's fast forward to the end of the year. That's me at the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium, and we are a sponsor, an in-kind sponsor for Real Producers. Real Producers is a franchise magazine in a lot of markets. And we had reached out, offered to kind of be a sponsor in kind if we could take photos, and that way we could associate with some of the top realtors in that area. They did this without me even knowing. They threw me up there as a sponsor, and just how cool that April, I didn't know if it was going to work. In December, our name is on an NFL stadium jumbotron with the top 500 agents in our area. And so that was just a really, really cool moment. And so I think the point there is consistent outreach and bringing the value. So let's talk a little bit about the mindset that made a difference. whenever I reached out, I wasn't asking them to necessarily hire me. I was actually asking for some help. And I'll share with you the script that I had used. I don't know that my script is any different, but I'll share that with you. But also positioning as a helper. And that's true even in business now, that we're always going to lead with value and not with a pitch. And to this day, I mean, so we're now 2.5 years into it. Part of the IG method is the idea of offering a free shoot. And so the concept is, if I give you a free shoot, you'll get to see the quality of our media. You'll get to experience our great customer service. In exchange, it's really no risk to you that you'll get these photos. And the idea is, if you give them something free, if you lead with value and you give them a great customer experience, they're going to come back. They're going to feel indebted to you, and you've earned their business. You've had a chance to earn their business. I think without the free offer, you don't get as many opportunities to earn business. And so I think some people, we'll talk about this later too, might question, like, I don't know, free, I don't want to just give away my business. But you have to think about this, because it is a repeat business, in lifetime value, LTV, or I think that's what it is. Am I willing to exchange a $200 photo shoot for the chance of earning all of their listings at this point for the next 2.5 years? And the answer is yes, I'll take that trade all day. Eli talked about this a little bit on his last call, but in your position right now, lean into you're just starting. People want to help. People want to support you. So be small, be authentic and polished, that you're just starting a business. Wonder if you could get an opportunity to build your portfolio and shoot their next listing on you, kind of thing. And then also sharing your story. I think people want to do business with people and not with businesses. And so I had started my Instagram. If you saw in the beginning, we now have a business account, but I built my business on a personal account. I wanted my brand to be my name. And so it was Scott Gomick. And so it was personal stuff, but it was also business stuff. And I felt like people started to come on and like support the story of this new real estate photographer in the area. I don't know if that's true. That's the way I felt. And it was so cool. I just felt like there was a lot of support. People want to help, and people want to cheer on a small business. And so sharing your story along the way allows you to do that. All right, let's talk about the free shoot offer. This has worked for me on several occasions beyond just real estate. And so this, when I heard this from Eli, it clicked right away. So one thing for when I shot for the NFL, I asked for feedback. Could I shoot something? Could I shoot a flag football game for free so that I was an intern at NFL Films. Sorry, I left that part out. I just wanted feedback. Can you help me get better? And he watched it and he said, I want you to shoot for us at NFL Films. I mean, that was not the plan. I just wanted to see, can I get some feedback? Can you help me build my portfolio? Can you give me some pointers on how I can be better? You've taken down this pressure of a sales pitch. I didn't go to the guy at the NFL and say, hey, can I work for you? I said, would you be willing to look at this? And so that was a free offer. I worked for the University of Pittsburgh, their football team. I just wanted to get better shooting football. So I said, do you have an extra camera? I don't need paid. I'd love to just go shoot some games. You can have the footage. And that led to a full-time job at Pitt for the next couple of years. And so when this came up, it's like, yes, it just makes sense. If you lead with value, if you give them a free shoot and they get to experience something, a gift like this, then they're going to want to come back. And so here's how we did it. Send a personalized direct message on Instagram. And I can show you the script here a little bit later on. But basically, I just moved here. I would love to shoot a listing to show you the quality of our work, and it allows me to help build my portfolio. If that's something you're interested in, would you let me know? When I was just starting, again, like there was no plan B. And so this had to work. My little thing that I added to the Instagram method is that I made every video follow-up a personal message. And so it was, hey, Eli. It was, hey, Rod. It was a separate video. Now, it's a little bit more time consuming, but are you willing to exchange that quality, some great quality, for some maybe lesser quality, and you get more quantity? So anyway, we did custom videos for each agent and had a tremendous response rate. When we made this offer, there was no pressure. They didn't have to do it, but it's just sitting there. And truthfully, there are people that still have this offer in their Instagram account that will follow up and say, hey, is this still good? And the answer is yes. I will always exchange a free shoot for the chance to earn your lifelong business as a realtor. This is great for newer agents because it can be tough. There's a lot of startup costs with real estate, a lot of things that you have to do. You think about getting that commission check, but you don't think about where all that money goes. And so to give new agents a free photo shoot is huge. And now for an existing agent, maybe they've worked with somebody. Again, we only started 2.5 years ago. There were certainly real estate companies in Jacksonville before then, but by giving you a free shoot, here's a chance for you to experience us at no risk. I guess the risk is we do such a terrible job that you have to go and hire that other company again and maybe inconvenience your sellers. But outside of that, there's no financial risk to giving us a shot. And so it really worked for us. And whenever you offer somebody a gift like this and you're not asking for anything in return, you're not signing a contract like, hey, if you do this free offer, you guarantee, there's no anything. And it just makes them feel silly. Like, why would they say no to something that's free? And so it allows you to get your foot in the door. It builds trust without having to force a sale. So how do you find realtors on Instagram? When I was doing it, and maybe this has changed a little bit, I think you could probably still do it. You would search, I would create an Instagram account. Before you start sending any messages to realtors, Eli will probably share this later on. Make sure that your account, whether it's a new account or something, has some images of you do real estate media. And if that means like taking a picture of your kitchen or like a behind the scenes photo, your camera set up on a tripod, you're not actually working for a client. You just want to build on your profile. You know, that grid 9, you want to have 9 filled out of your face, showing who you are so people can know, like, and trust you, like Eli did for me, right? I felt like I knew him before I even met him. You want that same thing to happen with the clients that are going to land on your page. Because you better believe if you follow a realtor, they're going to be like, I don't know who this Scott Golmick is. They click my account. Oh, looks like he's a real estate photographer. They should know within seconds what you do. So build out your post. And then you can search local hashtags, maybe Jacksonville real estate, something else. And no doubt other real estate agents have used that. And then you would just hit follow. And ideally, if you follow them, they'll follow you back. You can also find other local real estate vendors, and there's a lot of people that want to work with realtors. And so you might see a title company, you might see a home inspection company, you might see whatever. You might want to go to their account and just start adding a few. You don't want to get too many that you like do too many on Instagram and it flags your account, but just start adding 10, 20 people a day. And the people that respond back or follow you back, those are the people you want to reach out to. That's what I did. I waited until they followed me back so that I could send them that personalized message, because they have followed me back. They're now kind of like a warmer lead. And whenever I send a message, it doesn't end up in that like junk folder, spam folder, request, whatever. If they follow me back, it's going to be going to their primary account. And that's the goal. Make sure that they see the message. Send a personalized video message and then focused on real connection, not mass messaging. I think that there is a lot of other people that have gone through the course that have sent 1,000+ messages. And that's great. To each their own, whatever works. I'm less worried about quantity. I just want quality. And so that's what I did, doing these quality messages. So here are the actual results. This is 6 weeks. So this is like mid-March, starting in 6 weeks of results, what it became. Sent 364 messages in about a month and a half. There was a 49% response rate. I think that that's insane. So of the 364, 180 responded. Now it could be like they thumbs up like emoji, they heart the message, they already have a photographer, they're interested, whatever. The fact that I could reach out in a new area, a new state, not know anybody, and in a month and a half have 180 potential clients respond to me was just absolutely incredible. These numbers are within this 6-week outreach. I'm sure the numbers have also changed, but it led to 35 bookings based on this little time period of sending out these messages. And this stat is insane to me. That means nearly 1 out of every 10 messages turned into a client. I mean, let that sink in. 1 out of every 10. That's incredible, because it doesn't take that long. You've already got the script. You copy and paste the text. The issue might be if you do a custom video, you don't have to, but it might. Okay, that takes you 30 seconds to a minute to record and then send. Like, would you exchange that amount of time to get that many clients in those few messages. I would take that trade all day. Targeted outreach, authentic stories on Instagram. If as you're starting your business, it's so important to post stories. You'll see our business account do that. But I would, like, when we moved here, there's a thing called like a twilight photo session. And that's where you take pictures literally at sunset. I didn't have any clients. I set up my tripod, put my camera on it. I was outside my house and said, real twilight session tonight. It wasn't lying. I was shooting a photo, but it didn't go anywhere. It was just of my house. But it shows on social media when you post on your story for your business, you're showing that you're alive, you're well, and you're working. And that's all that matters. It does not have to be a perfect post, a perfect story. You're just staying top of mind, and that's what you're doing here. And then we're engaging with agents that are showing interest. So here's the text example. I don't know if this is a good screenshot. You can use this, also modify it to be your own. And I think that there's some things that can help you generate similar looking scripts. That way it's not the same all the time. But let's just read it out and I'll kind of break it down for you. I sent you a video, but figured I'd send a text as well. My name is Scott Golmick. My family moved from Pittsburgh to St. John's a few weeks ago. I mean, immediately it's a personal message of, hey, I'm new to the area. That's my reason for reaching out. If you've lived in the same area forever, your reason for reaching out is that you just started a real estate photography business. You know, like you have to give them a reason to connect with you. We're excited to live here and excited to bring a real estate photography business to the area. Want to reach out and offer you a free photo shoot for your next listing. No strings attached or anything, just a way that you could test out my work risk-free and see the value I could help bring to your future listings. See there, it's like slyly starting to say, like, I want you to think that in exchange for this free shoot, I'll get a chance to earn your future listings, but it's not saying like, I demand it or I need it or there's some sort of contract, right? You're just starting to plant that seed of this exchange, free for a chance to earn your future business. And then this question is the one that's like, would you really say, no, I'm not interested in this? Is this free photography shoot something you'd be interested in for your next listing? I mean, I think that that's a pretty solid script. You're connecting to them on a personal level. You're presenting an offer, and the call to action is that question at the end. Would you be interested in something free? So the personal introduction with family, clear value proposition, no pressure or obligation, right? It's pretty laid back, the tone of that, and it's simple yes or no to close. Also, this is not my original idea. So the IG method is not my thing. This is Eli's thing, who has coached me to do this. And there have been a lot of others that have done it well. And so I'm just regurgitating what I have learned and have worked so well for me. So here's some takeaways. I think that this is just great in business in general. Give before you get. So the free shoots build your portfolio and trust. And early on, man, I gave away a lot of free shoots. But it allowed me to build my portfolio, gave me content to post on social media, gave me behind the scenes to post on my stories, to reach out to other people. You had those like 9 posts. You're building out your grid. By giving, you're going to get that content to do as well. Consistency wins. 364 messages in 42 days. And at the end of April, I was doubting, is this thing going to work? And then May and June happened, and that was wild. Something I heard Eli say that really sticks with me and something I have to remind myself about today. Best known photographer is better than best photographer. So visibility and relationship building matter more than perfection. And I think that if you're coming from a different photography industry, if this is weddings or you're shooting sports or family or something, you're probably really geeked out on the tech, the lens, the camera, the specs, the perfect framing, all of these things. This is more than a photography business. This is a customer service experience business. And you're going to hear that. You're going to have that same feeling with Colleen and Justin. They're going to come in and bring that energy. And that's the energy that every customer got at the beginning. And it's this contagious thing. And so you want to focus on, as you're starting, certainly there's a standard, but much beyond that standard, focus on being the best known photographer in the area and getting to know as many people as you can, as fast as you can. Touched on it earlier, was part of REPP coaching. And for me, it was a no-brainer. There was no plan B. So I needed all the help I could get. And so that plan A would work. And they helped save me time from costly mistakes and allowed me to launch quickly. I mean, imagine having this type of conversation on a daily basis. And so whenever I signed up to be in coaching, that was very much part of my full-time job. As I'm launching a business, I'm a full-time student learning everything I can. And Eli, talked about the speed of like just starting. I don't understand why you wouldn't go as fast as you can. Why wouldn't you take everything that you can possibly learn from these coaches and apply it that has worked for others literally as fast as you can? And there might be some things you're like, I don't know if I really agree with this. Who cares? You're just starting. Do what they say as fast as you can. And then down the road, you can pivot and make your changes however you want to. But that would be my recommendation. If you're serious about this, I would highly consider coaching. I would not be where I am today with these kind of numbers on a monthly basis if it weren't for coaching. That's 100%. And so then I want to also share this free shoot offer. We still do this today. So let's talk about this, a couple of things, and this might come up with questions that will show up later. My personal account is where I started my brand. It was very much my face, my name, my brand, not like as an ego way. I just wanted people to connect with me on a personal level. Well, then when we began to scale, then it started to be like, shoot, everyone's expecting me to be at the shoot, and I can't. Physically, I can't. So then that's why we built the business account. And maybe I should have just transitioned the personal business. Anyway, the business account has more of a business identity. We're going to transition and do the IG method again. But we are doing that in the background. It's on autopilot. We have people that follow us. If they're a realtor that's not a client, our virtual assistant sees it. They check with me to make sure that it's not somebody that I happen to know or have messaged already. And they send out, instead of a personal message at this point in the game, it's more of a pre-recorded message. But my encouragement to you is to do personal messages for as long as you can and put off hiring a virtual assistant to do this part of the job as long as you can so that you can refine it. You better believe I sounded crazy the first couple of times trying to do it. I think it probably took me 50 takes to nail what I wanted to say, how to do it, the timing, the pacing, all those things. But then once I had those 50 reps, then it was smooth sailing from there. And so we just encourage you this is the type of thing that you can start today. I mean, you can start following people. You can start building out your Instagram profile. Make sure that people see your face. They're connecting with you. And so let's just connect to how we still use this today. Down the road from now, the thought for you would be a broker deal where you start working with an office or a company. We have started to get into this, and we have 2 broker deals that are working right now. And what we have done is offered this same free shoot to everybody in the brokerage. And at first you're like, man, is that a smart business move? Because that's a lot of realtors. Are you willing to give away that many free shoots? And I had to process it of, if I sent an IG method message to every one of these realtors, I would offer them a free shoot every time. Of course, I'm going to do this too. And so I'm now presenting at offices, telling these agents that we have pre-built their account. We've put credit on their account already so that their first shoot, photo only with us, is free. And they're just blown away. And people are jumping ship to come join and use us to shoot their listings. And so I'm a big fan of it. At some point, I tried 50% off, just didn't have the same ring to it. Tried a free service, didn't have the same results. And so free has always worked best for me. I share this today, and please know, don't get into a comparison game of like, oh man, my May wasn't as fast, or it took me a little long. Stop the comparison game. You're going to hear a lot of stories. Don't be discouraged. Let all of the stories be encouragement that you can absolutely do this, and that you can start now. Started from 0 in March of 23. And now I think we're over 300,000 in revenue. We just surpassed that for the year. And so I think that we'll be passing $500,000 in revenue by the end of the year. So with this Instagram method, hopefully this all makes sense. What you're doing, you're reaching out to realtors and hoping to develop them into clients. Keep it human. You don't have to be perfectly polished, but I do think that you have to be presentable. So you might want to record a bunch of them so that you get used to it. And then also show some people and see what they think about it, but keep it human. People want to do business with people, not businesses. Consistency. Man, just to make sure that this is part of your daily routine, particularly if you've got a full-time job and you're trying to get this started, that you're sending 10 messages a day, that you have some baseline or 20, whatever you want to do, but you're being consistent with it, plant those seeds because it is going to grow down the line. You're going to send them a message and they're going to say, yes, this is great, but they may not get a listing for 3 months. And so that's why you have to know, like, these seeds are being planted and you just want to be consistently sowing these seeds so then you can reap it and just keep on showing up. So I want to thank you for this. I'm going to jump into one last slide with questions. And if it's okay, I'm going to kind of work through some of these questions. Then I would love to take any questions that you have. I just want to say it is an honor to be part of this event today. I would just encourage you, if you are thinking about this at all, to take the leap and to do it. It is a really cool industry. And I was on for Eli's opening remarks. It's not easy. The plan is easy, right? You send messages on Instagram. That's an easy plan to follow. But it is hard. It's a grind. It is hard work. But if you're willing to do the work and you're willing to be coachable and put aside the perfect photographer brain of framing and all the tech, and you're willing to get into the customer service side of it, this is absolutely possible to be a family income for you. So thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to jump into these questions. Eli, Rod, if you ever want to hop in, please let me know, but I'm going to go ahead and just jump in these, make sure that
we're here in the background, but you do your thing.
Okay, awesome. So these are some questions that I've gotten before. Would love to just kind of rattle through them and I'll kind of do the rapid fire and then we can hop on and I'll close my part here. So who do you choose to message? Do you look for just the top realtors in the area and start there, or do you go with everybody? I did not once consider if they were a top realtor or they've sold 0 all year. You're wasting your time trying to do that step. In that time of you trying to figure it out, I've sent 5 more messages, and you never know, because there's always somebody that's going to be joining a real estate company, and they might be the next top producer in the area. So why would you try and guess on where to go? I would just message literally every realtor that's in your area. What's the best way to follow up if they don't respond? Every 2 weeks, or I don't know, maybe it was like a month down the road. Hey, just want to let you know this offer still stands. We're doing this today. And somebody said, oh my gosh, thanks so much. And they just booked, like this happened last week. They booked a plus package, $750. I had sent them a message months ago. It wasn't me, it was my virtual assistant sent a months ago. Virtual assistant sent the follow-up message and they said, awesome, we just booked. And I think this week we delivered a plus package to them. So it works, and it still works to this day. Just trying to stay top of mind. Is it best to use your personal or business account? That's up to you. I would love, we can let Eli answer that. Again, for me, I started personal and then went business, but just make sure people see you in your face, particularly when you're starting. What should my first free shoot include? When I was just starting, I literally included whatever they wanted. And I think my first shoot ever wanted twilight photos, video, photo, floor, like it was just insane. And you look at what that revenue could have been, but I didn't care. I gave it all away because then that gave me real twilight photos that I could use for our marketing. It gave me a floor plan that I could use. And so early on, anyone that says yes, man, if you can just frame and be in the mentality of giving, you're gonna be able to, I think, just grow a lot quicker. Eventually we refined it. And right now it's refined to be a free photo package. Like our smallest photo package is 25 photos in a floor plan at $215. That's the value. So they're going to get $215. If they want 25 photos in floor plan, it is literally free. If they do anything more than that, it just deducts that $215 from their total. How many DMs should be sending a day? That's up to you and the rate at which you want to grow. But I would baseline, probably start with 10 messages a day. Realistic timeline to get momentum. I mean, it's going to take months to have that momentum. Things will get started and things will trickle in, but it's going to take a little bit to get that ball rolling. And so that's why you want to be consistent going on in the background so that you're just going to continue to grow. How do you balance free work with the need to get paid? This is a question that only you can answer. For me, I mean, there's a tipping point where my schedule is now full of free shoots, but somebody wants to pay for a shoot. Okay, well then there's a priority, and it's an ebb and flow thing. I just, at this point, if you're just starting, I would just encourage you to go free as fast as you can. Get as many free shoots as fast as you can. And then that answer will be very clear to you when you have to start transitioning into some paid shoots and how you can continue to have those free shoots come in, but now you're filling it in with more paid shoots as well. I want to share just one quick story with you. on how the Instagram method works. Kevin did this, and I wanted to share kind of my own version of it. Kevin from Nashville Media Company did this at the REPP conference last year, where he started with one person and how it's led to like this tree of clients because of one message. One message goes to an agent in our area who used to be on TV, wanted to have a video, and so we joined her. And the first thing we did was a free listing video for her. That led to a few new listings, and then she said, "Hey, my mom's an agent. She'd love to work with you, and so I get to meet this agent's mom." Well, this mom, I come to find out, is number one of 8 offices in the area, like number one of all of the offices within this one company. And so then we've been working with her. Well, whenever you throw her name around, other people say, if she's doing it, then I will do it. Okay, so that has now been a year or so that we've been working with the mom and the daughter. We've also done this kind of free thing to shoot different events and be part of an awards ceremony. My philosophy is if I can show up in front of people, then people will start to know who I am, right? It's best known, not best photographer, best known. This company has now agreed to make us their preferred media partner. And tomorrow, on Friday, they're sending an email to all 500 agents that our preferred media partner is the real estateographers. If you backtrack, this company email has been a year in the works. It started because of the number one agent, and it started because of her daughter, and that started because of an IG method. And so let that be an encouragement to you. You just have no idea the connections on where it will go, and just start planting those seeds and see where it goes from there. So that's everything I have. Would love to hop in with Eli and Rod if you guys have any questions.
Every time I hear you speak, I want to restart a real estate media company. And I'm not even just saying that. I'm like, I want to get back to the days of Instagram messaging. It's like fishing, you never know what you're going to catch, but that's the fun of it. So thank you for the great presentation. It's amazing. So
appreciate that. I just realized now that my face may have been off screen the whole time. I didn't see myself.
No, you were there.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So it's an okay.
Good thing you didn't do anything weird or anything. Good stuff. Well, thank you, Scott.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we'll hit some questions. So if you have a question, ask Scott. But before we can do that, we got to have some takeaways. We're focusing more on that because I realize every time I go to an event, something like that, and they do takeaways, I'm like, stop that. Like, we're not in kindergarten. But then if they don't do takeaways, I forget what my takeaways are. And so it's a necessary evil, I think. So share some big things that stood out to you. So we talked, I think the core takeaway of the first session was customer service and serving clients. Like, what was your takeaway from this one? Post that in the chat, and we're gonna lock everybody up until we get a couple takeaways. No questions allowed. Those family trees are really cool, Scott. I'm glad you shared that. Like, I want to go back and do it for Normandy. I think it's just like hard to reverse engineer because you don't exactly know who came from who.
Yeah.
The Instagram method is critical. Keep it human, keep it consistent, keep showing up. It's really good. Rod and I click at the same time. We start about every time we click.
We double clicking.
Nice. Yeah, being top of mind. One of the things that Scott mentioned near the end there, and you can't talk to Scott in a presentation like this or hear a presentation from Scott where he's not going to mention it at least once, but it's not best photographer, it's best known. And best known, it doesn't mean you're becoming some famous local person and having like this crazy Instagram. It's not that. It's just when a real estate agent thinks about real estate photography, the more of them that think about your name, the better. And you do that with the Instagram method, right? And so you do that initially, you get known, but you also stay top of mind both with the Instagram method. Use being small to your advantage. It's a great one. Personalized approach is something I wouldn't have thought of. That's a good one. Cultivate relationships. Cool. All right. Well, we got a few minutes for questions, I believe, before we go into our lunch break. So if you have a question for Scott, we've unlocked enough takeaways to go to questions. So go for it. This is your time to ask him a question. We took him away from his business for some time, and so this is the time you're going to get. So if you have a question, shoot your shot.
Here's the first question. It says, sorry, I missed. What should be included in your first free shoot?
If you're just starting, I would include as much as you possibly can. And as you continue to go, it might make sense to dial it back to be just photos. But if you're just starting, it's going to give you a rep to get better at the 3D tour, at the floor plan, at the real twilights. And so give away everything. And I just think that the more you can give them, I mean, it's going to come back. And so, yeah, I would just give it all away.
Tactically, it does come back too, not just like, you know, on a referral basis with other clients, but that same client, what we've seen is the more you give them, the higher their future average order value is, because they know more about your services. And so a thing that a lot of people mess up is they assume their clients know everything they offer because they've ordered from them. And if you think about any business you work with, you know, think about all the services they offer. You probably have no idea, even businesses you've worked with for a while. And so showing them is the way for them to for sure know. And there's nothing worse than, you know, 2 years down the line, a client goes, you know, like a big client, I'm sure you've gotten this before, Scott. Like we get it all the time. It drives me crazy. They'll be like, hey, Scott, do you offer videos by chance? And you're like, yes, I offer videos. Yes. And they're like, man, if I would have known that, I would have ordered videos for every listing for the last 2 years. And you're like,
what that would have been. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, $10,000 or something.
Yeah.
What's the next one for Scott? Rod, you get to pick.
Scott, what virtual assistant do you recommend?
If you're just starting, none. Truly, like, go do the work yourself as long as you can. I remember, I don't think I got a virtual assistant. It was like a year ago. Remember in Nashville, I didn't have a virtual assistant. So that was June. And
I remember Tyler calling out the entire room who didn't have a VA.
Yeah,
there was a room of everyone that was doing more than $15,000 months. And I remember him calling out the entire room. That was funny.
So my recommendation is go as long as you can without a virtual assistant so that you know the processes. Virtual assistant, their tasks are likely going to be quality control on the photos and then deliver the photos. You'll have some other tasks there that are for them. But the longer you can do it and you know that process, the better your business will be. So I would try and hold off as long as you can. And I don't know what your recommendation is now. Maybe it's like 15,000 or around that, 15 to 20. Then I would start looking for a virtual assistant. From there, our virtual assistants came from a referral. We now have 4. The one came from another realtor. I just saw her social media was looking good and it was consistent and I wasn't consistent. And I said, hey, are they looking for more work? Yes. And that has led to this side of the virtual assistants. It was a referral thing. And then Tyler, it was a referral from another real estate media company on the quality control and delivery. And since we've hired more, it was those virtual assistants referrals, you know, so like you can for sure go online and find them. But down the road, after you've done this for a little bit and you understand the processes, then maybe it's reaching out and seeing if there's another media company that can offer a referral.
Yeah, that's really good advice on doing it first, because someone, one of our students actually said this the other day, I think, and I really liked it. There's a, part of growth is delegating what you do, right? So Scott's grown his business by delegating photography, delegating admin work. But there's a big difference between delegating and abdicating, right? And so you're not just like, if you don't know how to do a job and you hire somebody and you're like, do the job, you really don't know how to train them to do it or how to manage them to do it or what the results should be. So that's more like you're just giving responsibility to somebody else and not setting them up for success. So the balance is you want to learn enough, but you don't want to do it too long where it holds your business back. So it's finding that sweet spot. And that's where it's, taking your business day by day and going, hey, if I had this time back that I didn't have to do this admin work or deliver photos, what would I do with it? And when you have a better answer than doing it, you do that, right? So it's like, man, I do more client acquisition because every hour I spend doing that makes me $500 or whatever. And I can hire someone to do admin work for $7. And so it's just that balance there.
There's one thing to add to this. So June 2023 was a 13K month. And I remember messaging you like, I don't know what to do. I need to bring somebody on. This is crazy. And then I didn't hire anybody, didn't hire an assistant. In November, had the same 13K month, and it was just a calm 13K. And so it forced a refining of systems. Instead of putting a Band-Aid on something, to have to work through I don't know, I think was a really good learning process to be able to figure out what needs fixed, so then you can hire the person to do the better process instead of the worst process that I was doing or something.
I want to say something that just came up, and I kind of mentioned it earlier when I was introing you, Scott. But a lot of people here probably are wondering, how the heck did you grow so fast, right? And you talked about it. You showed the Instagram method, but it's like, how did you do all that stuff? And the reality is, one thing, Scott, and I'll tell a quick story about it. did really well is he didn't reinvent the wheel. And so what I mean by that is what a lot of people will do. I mean, we have 90 people here live right now. You don't want to be most people, but what most people will do is they'll take some of the things they learned today, put a twist on it, and try it. What the people who grow the fastest will do, and that will learn and get the most from today, is they will do exactly what they learn and not different, because the trial and error is what takes the time. So if you don't do the trial and error, it's faster, right? So here's a great example, and Scott's done this a lot of times, but Rod mentioned this Nashville event we hosted, and we had, I don't know, was it like 12, 14, 15 other real estate photography companies? We were sitting in the living room in this nice place, and we're just doing like a mastermind, talking about our businesses and that kind of stuff. And I said something that I wish someone would have like beat into me, which is when you start to get to that 15, 20K a month mark, doing shoots is a bad thing for your business. It's actually a negative. It's like, you should not be doing shoots anymore. You should be hiring someone to do those so you can do more important stuff. And there's 15 people in the room. Not that everybody just has to listen to me, because like, again, I'm not saying I'm the only one who's right on this. And I've obviously, made a ton of mistakes. That's part of the reason I know generally more about what to do. But I said, the goal should be to never do another real estate shoot. And from my understanding, the only person who really took that to heart was Scott. And that's why his business grows so quickly. If I remember correctly, Scott, while you were there, you took yourself off the schedule.
That night, I went and removed myself from the schedule.
And I'm sure there's times where you had to go do shoots after then, but it's like the idea of just, looking from a bigger perspective, the thing you do. So, I mean, you grew much faster than me, like much, much faster. And it's like, well, what's the difference? Well, you just implemented exactly what people had said worked, because they did it all wrong. So they did the trial and error, and you got to borrow just the piece that worked. And I think that's a really important message. Like, I try to tell myself that I'll go to events like this, I'll pay for coaches, I'll do all this stuff. And it's like, Rod and I were just talking about this. We're implementing a bunch of stuff we learned from somebody right now. And it's like, how stupid would we be to be like, no, I don't think that would really work. It's like, come on, like, just do it. You just paid for this. Like, do what it says. Otherwise, it's a waste of money. So, all right, let's hit 2 more questions. No pressure, Rod.
2, golly.
Hold on. I'm here till 3.
Good one.
I'm here till 3.
Yeah, we got lunch break.
Let's go rapid fire session. That's my favorite.
There you go.
Right, Scott's got a good one. Or Scott Hunter has a good one. Scott, how do you recommend getting realtors to follow you back? I'm following around 50 right now, and only 3 followed me back. My posts are solid, and I interact with everyone that posts.
Yeah, I think initially just keep going. Just keep adding, following more people, and those numbers will change along the way. It sounds like, if your posts are solid and you're interacting with people, awesome. I'd want to make sure your profile grid is showing exactly what you do, that they're not questioning who is this Hunter that is following me. It's very clearly you're doing real estate photography, and they're showing your face, and it's you smiling and all of those things. If that's the case, I think it's just a law of numbers, and the more people you follow will follow you back.
Think about it too from their perspective, Hunter. If they go to a profile and it has like 7 followers, their chance of following you back is probably less than when it has 200, right? So it's like, well, it's kind of like, how do you do that? Chicken or the egg type situation, right? That's where Scott's saying like the law of numbers will kick in too, is like every follower you get and then every further engagement you do creates a higher chance that they follow you. But the reality is the following is the least important part. Like seeing the DM is the most important. And so, don't let them not following you result in you not sending a DM. You can. And I know that was part of kind of how you did things, Scott, if I recall correctly. But just do both. More in this situation is always better.
Yeah, and don't let that stop you from sending the message. For me, it was important that they followed me back so I didn't end up in a junk folder. But in this situation, start sending them. And then you might get more people to then listen to your message if they check the request and then follow you. And then it kind of works out. So that's my preference, was to wait for them to follow, but don't let that result in you not messaging in this season, just as literally as fast as you can.
I think something too that people often underestimate is the amount of work that the people that grow quickly put into this. So when we say like do the Instagram method, you're doing a lot of messages. Hunter, I think that was Hunter's question that was up, but you mix that many messages with like more follow-ups and more stuff than you reasonably think is possible, right? And so when Scott said just keep going and double down. Like the intensity of people that make this work fast A lot of people make it work slow, and that's great too. I made it work slow and my business is still great. It just took longer. So if you're like, hey, speed's really important to me, you have to do what a lot of people do in 2 years and 2 months. And that's how you speed up time. There's a Hormozy quote that's volume negates luck. And I like that a lot. So it goes in exact alignment with what Scott said, just do more.
All right. Next question is, what if you barely have photography experience? Great question.
I love this question. There are people that are on our team that didn't have photography experience, but we hired them because they were great in person, knowing that they would treat customers, the realtors well and homeowners well. They'd be a good representation of the brand. And so you don't have to have that photography experience. I had never shot photos before. My background was these like $250,000 video cameras in sports. I didn't know how to do this. I didn't know this thing. And so that was new to me, and it can be new to you too. Through the trainings, you'll learn what you need to learn, and you'll be able to do it very quickly. So don't let that hold you back if you don't have any photography experience.
Simple to learn too, like you said, Scott. And we'll talk about that in my session later, is specifically like what HDR photography looks like. And to hint to something fun, we kind of mentioned this, but for everybody that's live, we have something along those lines that you'll get for free during my session. And it objectively is worth 10 times what you paid for the ticket price today. And it will help. That's all I can say without giving it away. It'll help you with the actual photography side, and it's free. So anyway, next one, Mr. Rod.
It's a good question for all three of you, Scott, especially, because I'm curious. Was there a period starting out that it seemed like it just wasn't going to work? And how did you power through? That's a great question.
You're a real question.
Media. What's your real name? Who are you?
100% had that. And to an idea, like even to this day, there's always going to be doubt that creeps in. There's always going to be the questions and everything. So I don't know that goes away. I think that might be part of owning a business. But it literally is just powering through and doing the work that matters in that particular season. And so for me, when it was that April and I felt like I was doing things, but I wasn't seeing the results, I mean, by sticking with it, May and June were awesome, like indicators of, oh, okay, this thing is going to work. This is working. And so, yeah, definitely had that feeling. There's still things that creep in now, and you just continue to make sure that you're doing the right stuff. I don't know, this might be down the line, but there's this idea of a time audit where you track your time and you just make sure that you're not wasting time and you're focusing, this is an Eli quote, on the highest leverage activity. That's a good thing to do whenever you're down and you're like, I'm not sure if this is going to work. That's a great way to make sure that you're using that time well and not just like wallowing and moping and time slips away kind of thing.
Because it's really like
there's an invisible load we can feel sometimes where it's just like all this stuff that we feel is happening. When you really audit it, it's like, okay, I'm just imploding over a 5-minute thing. What's happening? Yeah. That's such a good idea. Yeah.
And part of it too is like, so, the money you will make today in your business, for example, Scott, that money was not made because you did something today. It was because you did something months in the past that resulted in the future. And that gets easier when you get momentum because you're starting to feel the payments that happen from the work.
It starts to catch up, right?
It catches up. But when you first start doing it, it's like you're doing all this work and nothing's happening. Like you will not find anybody that's like, I started the Instagram method today and I'm fully booked.
Yeah.
Like, right. If you crack that, please come tell me and I will pay you as much money as you need to tell me how you did it so I can teach other people, right? That's not how it works. There's a delay. And the delay is directly proportionate to how well and how much work you put in. The better you do it, the more you do it, the shorter the delay.
All things considered, I mean, okay, it may not happen today, but tell me another industry that you can start a business with no experience and grow in a year or two to be a full-time job. I don't know if there are many. And I know that you talked about the 3 R's: repeat, required, and referral. The wedding photography, it's tough because ideally you don't have repeat clients, and so referrals, it's a very unique business model. And so, yeah, you may not grow today or this month, but if you put in the work, you will see the results very quickly in a few short months to see that coming in. I'd love to tie it back to, this realtor's mom, brokerage, sending an email tomorrow. This has been a little bit of work to get there, to earn that trust, to make this proposal of like kind of a brokerage deal preferred partner. We're not going to see the results of this tomorrow. We'll see some shoots come in, but not everyone has a listing tomorrow. We're going to see the fruits of this in September, in October, in November at the REPP conference. Like, this is a long-term play, and it's the same thing here. If you can just get in the vision of like working, you're going to see the results a few months after the work you do, then you'll be in good shape.
Tagging along kind of what you said earlier, it is funny that we always talk about like, oh, it's a long-term play. And then we're like, you won't see the results for 2 months. It's like, dude, 2 months is not long-term.
No.
But
not in business world.
On a real note, it is also longer than most people will do something without seeing results. So it's like that catch-22. It's like, it's not actually long, but it's longer than the average reasonable human being wants to do something. You know, you get all excited. Like, you go to an event today, you're like, man, this guy's Scott. Like, you're telling your spouse after, your friends, and you're like, this is crazy. And they're not really understanding. You're like, no, it's going to work. And then you do it for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and you're like, huh. You start to feel more like the people you told, right? Yeah. The motivation dies down. And so that's why we talk about, like I said at the start, I don't think it does anybody any service to be like, this is going to be so easy and just hype. Like, we can hype you up all we want today. That's not going to do anything for you. So it's a mixture of like, you need to be excited, because if you're like, this sounds terrible, I don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. But it also needs to be balanced with like, this is actually going to take work. It's going to take some time. You're going to feel like it's not going to work. You're literally going to get like a mini adrenaline rush multiple times going, what am I doing?
Yeah.
The heck, like, I mean, I talked about when I ordered my first business cards one time, but it was just like, I got them and I was like, what are you doing, Eli? Like, you're playing business here. Like, what do you know, this is not, you don't know anybody who's a real estate photographer. You've never heard of it until a few weeks ago. And now you're trying to make business cards like it's it's imposter syndrome, right? And so I think the more you know about what to expect, the better.
So you don't think it's just you. You know, you hear all this other stuff and you think, okay, I'm going, but it's just like, that's the norm. That's just how it normally is. And you just got to push through it and allow yourself to get to that other point. So many people cut it off before they allow themselves to get to that point where it can really hit. And, you know, it's just those ones that just push through that as hard as it can feel are the ones that hit it. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see what you've done with your business, Scott. And it was when we did that case study on YouTube a while ago. It wasn't an interview or anything. It was just Eli just talking about like your results and what you've done, and from the move and everything too. And I remember that was like almost 2 years ago or something. I remember seeing that now at this point that I've always known of you since I've been here. So it's just really cool to see what you've done. And that you're like, I imagine you're an incredible boss to the photographers and the people on your team too as well. So kind of makes me want to move across the state and work with you a little bit.
Great, let's go.
Just can't have him, Scott. Yeah, you cannot have him.
But no, thank you for like being on and just even showing the message you send. I thought was really cool earlier too. So a lot of value with that. So thank you.
Yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you.
And I love your name, the Real Estateographers. I've always loved that name too.
It's the longest email address in the world.
Like,
you think that one through.
Spell estateographers too.
Yeah.
So they don't
Can you spell that? And you're like, oh gosh.
I have to double check sometimes. I'm like, that's
so
right.
Funny. It's memorable. It's one of, I'm not good with names. Rod's like some sort of I think he like writes it. I don't know. He has some AI that helps him, but your company name, I will never forget. It's like, I can immediately know it. It's very interesting. So
I appreciate it.
Anyway. Well, thanks for being here, Scott. Appreciate it. And have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, see you.